Hey everyone, welcome back to Elemental Cartomancy. Today I wanted to do something a wee bit different. I might actually start this off as a kind of new series. It just depends on, you know, how much people get out of it and how much I get out of it as well, I suppose. I was thinking of doing a kind of a read with me type thing. So I'm going to do a bit of a spread here on the video, and I'm going to encourage all of you to, read along with me. And post in the comments how you got on with it, what kind of things that it helps you see and stuff like that. Um, Maybe at some point in the future I'll do something like this only in a live format where people can interact in the chat and stuff. We will see. We will see. For now, let's kick off with this one. Now, this is going to be for the new moon in Leo. New moon in Leo is a good time for kind of a kicking off fun, creative projects. So I thought we could do a bit of a reading just to see what that energy holds for us. Okay. Now, you don't need to do this exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to tell you how I'm doing it. And if you want to do something similar, then hit pause on the video and go grab what you need in order to, to read along. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use two decks. I'm going to use a tarot deck and I'm going to use an oracle deck. Now, you can use two tarot decks, two oracle decks. You can use one tarot deck and just do all the cards for that. It's really up to yourself. There's no right or wrong here. The decks that I'm using, by the way, are both by Scylla Conway. We've got the Shimmering Veil Tarot and we've got the Devas of Creation Oracle deck by Scylla. Okay. All right. So the technique, as it were, we're going to pull five. Well, I'm going to pull five tarot cards and four oracle cards. Okay. So my cards have already been more or less mixed, shuffled up. Now the way I'm going to do this, whoops, is I'm going to spread them out on the table and pick five cards at random. So let's do that. So I'm going to fan them out on the table. And we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and all the while remembering that we're reading for the new moon in Leo and what that energy has in store for us. Next, we're going to come to the oracle. Um, so as I say, it's already been shuffled. I'll just give it a quick shuffle up anyway. Okay, and four cards from this deck. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I've got all my cards that I'm going to be reading with. Let's start off then. So the tarot, we're going to do a kind of a cross, a 5 card cross. All right, now we start off in the center, and this is going to tell us basically our current position, our present position. Now, I've started off here, and the cards that I'm pulling, let's just say they're for the collective. I can read them for me, but let's say they're for the collective in general. Okay, so we've got the two of Air Two, I think it's called in this deck, or the Two of Swords in a traditional deck. So maybe a wee bit of uncertainty, maybe a wee bit of feeling a bit like piggy in the middle between two different points of view. Now, this could be an internal process. It could be that we ourselves are undecided about how to progress forwards, and that's where we currently are. Where it's like we see the person here wielding two different lightning bolts. Wielding two different energies, and I suppose it's just about kind of trying to break that stalemate to find a way forwards. Okay, card number 2 is going to go behind us, and that's going to be talking about the kind of a past situation. We've got Fire 7 here. So this for me is about standing up for ourselves. So maybe we've been in a position where we've had to stand up for ourselves. You know, um, uh, it's funny. This always looks to me like someone who's been tightrope walking over a volcano and they've fallen in. Um, it's just the image that what the card always immediately brings to mind. But I suppose you could look at it as someone who's kind of coming through a portal and they're trying to kind of reach for this support, this support bar. Um, so we could look at this as we've been in a place where we've come through into something new. Now, as it is, the new moon actually happened a few days ago. It happened on Thursday. So this could represent the actual new moon, which was a couple of days ago, and us coming through into that process and kind of a trying to latch on to something new. And notice that we're coming from a place of light to a place of uncertainty, of darkness, and we're trying to we're reaching for something that we're not quite sure what it is, but we're just hoping for the best, and we've found ourselves in a place of uncertainty. I'm not sure where we're going, dealing with different conflicting energies. So let's look at the next card, which is the kind of a future card, to see where that, and oh, well, it looks as though the future's up to chance. So how where we end up is really going to depend on how we deal with this current situation that we're in, this current stalemate, this uncertainty, this indecision. That's what's going to determine whether it's a good wheel or a bad wheel. The wheel of fortune can swing either way, and that it really there's no kind of it's all about fairness. It's all about, oh, you need to get your fair turn. That's not what the Wheel of Fortune is about. With the Wheel of Fortune, it's, it's just your luck whether you end up with a good hand or a bad hand. So I suppose in that way the future's a bit unclear. Um, for top and bottom, what I'm going to be doing is I suppose kind of conscious and unconscious, or like aims, the things that we're actually actively working towards and thinking about, and then the unknown stuff, the stuff that's bubbling beneath the surface that we're not quite conscious of. So here we've got the nine of earth. Is that the nine of earth? Is That's strange because I had a different image in my head for the nine of earth. That's why that one surprised me. Okay. So, I mean, we're trying to get to a place of affluence, we're trying to get to a place of, um, it's like the culmination of our hard work. We feel as though we've worked hard, and we want to be able to actually enjoy the fruits of our labor, okay? And what's not known, what's unknown, what's happening beneath the surface, we've got the warrior, the air warrior, which is kind of like the Knight of Swords. So that might suggest that there's still something there to fight for. Our work isn't all done. We've still got to keep going. And you see how like these kind of even the Wheel of Fortune card, they look very tumultuous compared to this top card. I think this might be a bit of a kick up the backside. Our expectations don't really reflect what we're actually, the world that we're actually in, the kind of the hand that we've actually been dealt. So maybe that's a bit of you're aiming for this, you're aiming for this peaceful, eating grapes and drinking wine. In actual fact, the hand that you've been dealt, what you're dealing with just now, is this kind of a situation. So if you want to get to that, there's going to have to be something's going to have to change, something has to give. So you need to kind of decide what that's going to be. Okay. So maybe a bit of a reality check, a kick up the backside is what this spread is telling us. Now, we then come to the four oracle cards that I'm going to use for this, and I've got my for Davis of Creation, I've created this handy cheat sheet. So I've got all the titles in front of me. So it's going to be an elemental with the four here. So I'm going to do fire, air, water, earth, and we're just going to check in with those different areas of our life as to how we can harness this new moon energy. So for fire, I've got 58, which is humanity. Um, so for me, fire is probably more so about my work right now. It's about my career, it's about my employment, it's that kind of a thing. Um, so this to me would suggest that I'm linking in with other people. There's creative projects going on, and I've got to kind of come together with other people in order to see that forward. Now, that does make sense based on stuff that I've got going on in work right now. So I'm going to leave that there and move on. Now, um, you can see how you feel about it when it comes up. You might look at this as checking in your head, checking with your mind, seeing what's going on for yourself mentally. But also remember, air and swords can talk about, the difficult stuff, the challenges that we've got going on, the shit that we've got going on. So depending on what card comes up here, it will tell us it will indicate what it's indicating. So I've got 7, which is divine inspiration. Okay, so quite I suppose mentally we're quite inspired here, you know. Um, the new moon in Leo is perhaps going to be in terms of psychologically, in terms of thinking up new problem solving, being creative in the mind, so problem solving and looking for new ways forward. The mind is probably a realm where this is really we're really going to benefit. So it's probably going to want to kind of just channel that energy towards the mind, towards those kind of a creative processes that we've got going on, because it looks as though, or the readings indicating that it's going to be quite conducive to that. Water, our emotions, we've got Pluto. Okay, so this is like Pluto. I believe it's Pluto 49. Let's just check just in case. Yeah, it is. So Pluto is like Hades, god of the underworld. So I mean, we're actually seeing a bit of a pattern here, aren't we? Because look at up above, we've got all these light cards, and then below, there's quite a lot of shit going on, isn't there? There's quite a lot of difficult stuff. Now, emotions does tie in with the unconscious, um, but because but water ties in with the unconscious because water is a symbol of the unconscious. All right. Water is all of these messages that we get from the unconscious, like our emotions, like our dreams, like our instincts, like our gut reactions, that kind of a thing. So emotionally, we seem to have quite a lot going on here, don't we? It does seem to be quite difficult. So perhaps we're going to have to, and I often give this as I see this as one of the messages of the Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes we have to take the good with the bad and see when we've got good. We need to kind of um, we need to learn to take advantage of that so as that when the bad stuff comes up, we've got something to fall back on, if that makes sense. So always be grateful for the securities that you have in life because the areas that aren't so secure, sometimes that's a pillow that you can fall back on, if that makes sense. And then Earth, okay, so how is it all culminating in the Earth and our reality? This can be about finance as well. Um, now, 10, yeah, compassion. The Deva of compassion sometimes can be seen as Raphael, the archangel, of healing, of physicians, and stuff like that. So, how is it all culminating? How is this energy going to culminate, this new moon energy? How's that going to culminate? There's a lot of healing. It looks as though a lot of healing's happening. If you're looking at this at Earth as a financial kind of a position, then it looks as though our finances might improve a wee bit. Maybe the mentally creative time that we have is going to put us in a better position financially. Okay. So I hope that was okay. I hope I wasn't going too fast. If I was, then you can always kind of a pause at each card, have a think about what it means for you. And yeah, just kind of unpause and do card by card. Um, and a last thing that I like to do just to kind of a finish, it's actually this has worked out quite nice because each of these cards are the same size. The Oracle is the same size as the Tarot, which doesn't always work out that way. Um, but yeah, so another thing I'd like to do is just look at everything as a whole. And I think it's nice that we have this Deva of compassion down here because the underneath stuff was looking quite tumultuous, was looking quite difficult. But in actual fact, we do have that healing light there in the bottom corner that's given us a bit of a fallback for what's maybe a bit more difficult over here. Um, and yeah, up above, uh, above representing the conscious represents our aims and the things that we have our mind on that we're actively working towards. That's all looking quite good. That's all looking quite um, positive, quite light. Just in terms of looking at the energies of the cards. So that's quite a positive for this reading as well. But like I say, the future is anyone's guess. Wheel of Fortune, it could go either way. We just need to make sure that we're taking advantage of the good areas and letting them offset perhaps the more negative stuff that we've got going on. Okay. All right. I hope this was helpful and enjoyable. Please join in. Please hit the like button. Please let me know in the comments. You know, you don't have to, if you want to, you can let me know each card that you pulled. But certainly let me know what decks you've used, what kind of roughly what messages you've got, if you feel comfortable sharing. And yeah, let's make a bit of a chat of it. I'd like a wee bit of interaction on this one. So yeah, hit like and leave me a comment to let me know how you've got on. Until next time, have an amazing week or weekend, depending on when you're watching this, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.